The scariest part of that hotel didn't happen when I was inside it. I thought I survived the hotel until someone proved me that I didn't. I really thought that was the end of the story. And when I left and got in the car, I said to myself I would never think of that hotel ever again. I was wrong. The manager did walk me out to the car, but before I can get in, he says to me, "Don't ever come back here." So I was thinking, wasn't really planning on it, but why? He just shook his head, but he said something I will never forget. He said to me, "Sometimes it doesn't stay where it happened." I didn't know what he meant, and honestly, I didn't think I really wanted to know. So I drove home and tried to forget the entire thing until after a few days I got home, I got a message. At first I almost ignored it because it had no picture. And they had no posts, nothing, like just a message. It said, "I know exactly which woman checked you in." They weren't asking questions, they weren't calling me a liar. Then they wrote my grandfather owned that hotel. I didn't really know what to say. So I did reply, "So you know what happened there?" So about, 2 or 3 minutes pass, no response. Then I get a message that says, "Not everything." And then they said to me there was one room my grandfather would never go in after dark. So I just stared at the screen for a minute and said, "Was it my room?" They said no, it was the room across the hall. I froze because that's exactly what the manager told me. My heart dropped. So I asked them, "How do you know that? Because I never posted that anywhere, how?" After typing for a while, one final message came through. It said, "Because my grandfather wrote everything down." But then another message comes through, 6 words, "There's something you need to see." Then they sent me a photograph. It wasn't a hotel, it wasn't the woman. It was a page from grandfather's journal, and most of it was faded. Honestly, it was almost impossible to read, but there was one paragraph circled. And it read, "Night clerk warned guests again, guests listened," and it said guest survived. I read it again and again. I'm like, what? Because I never told anyone that she warned me before it happened. Nobody should have known that, but then I looked closer at the bottom of the page. There was one more sentence written in different handwriting. "If he leaves, tell him not to come back." I just stared at it because that's the exact same words the manager told me when he walked me to the car. So I responded and I said, "Where did you get this?" And they said, "My grandfather keeps everything." And they said there's one more page, but they said, "I don't think you're ready to see it." I didn't know if I wanted to see it because if the journal was real, I was not the first person that she warned. I wasn't the first person she tried to save. And maybe the manager wasn't warning me to stay away from the hotel. And maybe he was just warning me that some stories don't end when you check out.